Hi, welcome to the first devlog of Villages on Wheels. I'm Janne, a Finnish game developer and the sole creator of this game. Villages on Wheels is a single-player, hero unit real-time strategy game where you directly control only one unit, the platform, which also carries all your buildings. The game is being made with the Godot game engine and I am planning on releasing it on Steam when it's ready. The core gameplay consists of moving around the map, collecting resources, villagers and collectibles, choosing a gameplay strategy and building relevant buildings, and competing against other computer-controlled villages, while using abilities and other benefits to your advantage. The goal of each round can be flexible, it is not always just about fighting other players. With custom games, you can decide the conditions of the round. I can talk more about custom conditions in another devlog. In addition to the custom games, the game features a story mode where players unlock missions with predefined conditions in phases and reveal the world map as they proceed. In this video, I will talk about the backstory and setting of the game, the design of the game, and how a round of the game would look like. The game takes place on a mysterious desert planet covered in a never-ending sandstorm. As you may have noticed on the video, the inhabitants of the villages are not human, but some other tiny creatures. An intro text which I will include in the game explains the situation like so. Ikoikon is an alien that loves to build. It can gather the energy of an object, store it, and use it to build anything it can think of. They have an excellent short-term memory, but terrible long-term one. One day, Ikoikons find a torn, human-made history magazine. 2 pages form an image, a village on top and wheels on bottom. Ikoikons are fascinated with the idea. They start building villages on wheels. The magazine has images of many different eras of buildings, from ancient times to the future. But as much as Ikoikons love to build, they also love to compete. With their new playthings, they soon started to practice combat, trade, thievery, sabotage and influencing. The competition escalated and they accidentally destroyed their own city and culture. Now, Ikoikons travel with their moving villages, some in search of a new home, some having embraced this as the new way of life. If I had to rate my game dev skills, programming would be highest up, music composing slowly approaching middle, and 3D modeling and 2D sprite creation at the very beginning levels. And I have never made sound effects before. This makes perfect sense, since I am a programmer by profession, while before this project I had only followed tutorials for making music in FL Studio and creating a donut in Blender. While I am committed to improving my skills in each of these areas, I did start with the mindset of playing to your strengths, focusing on creating interesting functional systems to the game and keeping the art and music side simple. I knew I would never have a chance of creating good-looking high-fidelity graphics in a realistic time frame, so I stuck to simple shapes and nice colors, and at least for now, no textures. Still, I want to highlight that this is not the final look of the game. For the world, I wanted to create something with a distinct feel. I have always liked the desert setting in games, and it could be argued that it's relatively easy to do, since there is usually just a lot of sand. So it felt like a really fitting choice for this game. Although there are some areas in the game that are in a rock, mountain or cave setting instead. I wanted to have large magical crystals and diamonds in the world, which have a role in the ecosystem. The world can be summarized in the following sentence: mysterious crystals, endless deserts, and enormous walls of stone on a planet encased in an eternal sandstorm. This project has been and continues to be a great learning opportunity for many areas in video games. Already I have used so many different tools I haven't before. Speaking of tools, I have created some of my own for the project. For example, a terrain and node-based hill creation tool and a cutscene editor. While still a bit lagging in functionality, both have already helped me to reduce manual work. As for the sound design, I will probably cave in and use third-party assets, but I still want to try to do some of them, like the sounds of Ikoikons. I think it's easiest to explain the gameplay by just inspecting how a round of custom game would proceed from the start. Keep in mind that most of this is not implemented yet, it's just the design I have in my head how it all would play out. so some changes are possible in the end result. A regular custom game round starts by the villages spawning to a map. The boundaries of the game area are commonly the max limits of the map, but not always. They can be altered to form a much tighter area. From here, the player starts moving and looking for resources and collectibles. The village has a certain angle it can be at, but if the angle is too steep, the village may fall. So players must be aware of the current steepness of the terrain. Player can build buildings on the platform in a grid. The buildings each have a certain functionality, like a house adds more space for villagers, scout camp enables scouting, ballista shoots enemies in combat, and so on. The most powerful buildings are built on the rooftop. Resources are needed for constructing buildings in the village. The game has 4 types of resources: wood, stone, metal, and energy mass. By the way, each of these resources would have a platform of their type in later updates of the game, but for launch I was thinking of having wood and stone platforms. The resource pots are placed at the start of a round and the resource supplies refill over time. Some buildings require blueprints, a type of collectible, to be able to build them. These kinds of buildings usually have useful upgrades that you can get with plus resources. Each resource type has a plus version and are rarer to find. Unlike their normal counterparts, plus resources spawn to the area over time and also disappear after a villager collects from them. Blueprints and plus resources would come to play at mid-game. The early game would focus on gathering the relevant resources for the platform, for example wood and stone for a wood platform, as well as villagers and an occasional batch of diamonds. Villagers benefit the village by making it operate faster, as well as some other passive benefits when the population reaches high. Diamonds can be used as a currency in a trading playstyle, play a part in influencing playstyle, and a game condition may demand having a certain amount of them. More about the playstyles in the next devlog. The last and perhaps the most interesting collectible type is orbs. The orbs are powerful magical relics placed on an orb holder in the rooftop that enhance different playstyles by passive and active bonuses and abilities. The orbs along the blueprints and plus resources are what give a village an edge against others and are important to fight over, since there is not enough for everybody. The game would also feature a talent system, where players can select upgrades from different categories to further enhance their playstyle. At some point the player might notice they need additional building space. That moment calls for a migration to a larger platform. Players can either build a new platform or find one in later stages of the round. The game will have 3 platform sizes: 2x2, 3x3 and 4x4. With 4x4 you can have 4 rooftop orb holders in one village. I also might make some buildings so large that they require migration from a 2x2 platform to add more depth to the system. These are pretty much the core features of a round. There are systems I did not yet mention, but I may introduce them in another video. Thank you for watching this first introduction devlog video. The following devlogs will go more in depth to the different topics. The next one will introduce the playstyles and the timeline of the project. Until next time.